Hi guys, I'm Jacques Booysen and oops, it's auto-playing again. Okay, I think it's stopped now. Okay, cool. I'm passionate about using R, but my other passion is also running up mountains and doing adventure racing. So I'm naturally passionate about maps and using maps to navigate. So hence my keen interest to use R to also see what you can do with maps. And today I'll just be showing you the GIS or the map abilities of R. Showing you in some real-world applications and practical applications of how I use R as a data scientist at EOH. So just to give you a basic intro of GIS, and GIS is mapping real-world data onto the computer for spatial queries and spatial analysis. And basically you get two types of spatial data, raster data or vector data. Vector data basically would represent a real-world house or a river, like you see on the picture, as a vector, and there would be an attribute table assigned to that, saying the river's average flow is this, it's this wide, etc. While raster values as raster files got different bands, you get multi-band raster files or single-band raster files, and they would typically represent the same real-world picture as a grid, as you see on the left, with R saying that it's where the river is and B saying where the trees are, for instance. But it's just like a basic overview for those who haven't been using GIS before. So here's just a basic roadmap. It's not extensive, it's just basic packages I've been using in R that I find really handy for GIS. Previous speaker showed GGMap, which can pull your Google Street Maps or Google Maps straight onto your ggplots. I'll be using SP Map Tools Maps and the raster package specifically for manipulating GeoRaster files. And the RGDAL package I found is a very useful package for converting between different raster and vector formats very easily. So I'll be showing you just quickly how to visualize, manipulate and create spatial data in R in some basic examples. So this is just showing you how easy it really is to visualize raster and vector data in R. It's a few lines of code. Using the raster package, I read a digital elevation model. In this case, it's a geotiff of South Africa. I read it in one line of code, and I read the shapefile, that's the river subset of South Africa, and I just plot it, and it gives me this 3D picture of elevation above sea level. So that's just a basic visualization. Just going to manipulation of GIS data in R. The example I'm going to explain to you is data I've been using is climate change data that's available on Amazon S3 volumes. And I've been using it on an EC2 instance, and it's 12 terabytes of data, so it's quite a large data set to process on your own machine or try and download on your own machine, so obviously why I do it in the cloud. But what makes this data set quite interesting is, so it contains 100 years of forecasted data into the future till the year 2100 of rainfall and temperature, minimum and maximum temperature. And the grid level is 25 kilometer by 25 kilometer for the whole globe. And there's different climate change models. There's 21 different type of climate change models across different scenarios or climate change scenarios or possible futures. So it's quite a big data set which I manipulate in R, and I'll show you quickly how I did that. So because the dataset is so large, I used Amazon EC2, and I fired up a C4 8 extra large EC2 instance. And I could access the S3 volume from there. But because it's so big, there's a master data file that describes all the little GeoRaster files that exist in this dataset. And each file is about 1 gig. And because the EC2 instance is on the same data center as this big data set, I could, within milliseconds, almost copy a gig, these gig files across to my instance, process them in R, and then discard them, and only to subset and roll up this data set to what's relevant to my experiment, which I wanted to use. So all these files are multi-band raster files. It will be one file per year, projected into the future. For year 2050, for instance, there will be one file for one climate change model, for one scenario, for globally. And these raster files would have multi-bands, or because this is global daily downscale data, it's daily temperature, daily rainfall data, geospatial data. So what I'll show you a bit later on is how I rolled them up to weekly values using R, and to also make them smaller, to crop them and to mask them to only include South Africa, for instance, because the data is so huge. Here's some R code I used. First, I just used the African countries shapefile, which is the vector layer describing all the African countries. I used this to cut out basically which areas I'm interested in to look at for climate change data. Then I used the raster package. I used the brick command to create a raster brick. Brick gets used to load, if you have multi-band raster layers, it's optimized to manipulate them really quickly. So you don't have to call the raster command for each band. You can just load the brick, and it basically creates a R list of all your bands, and you can access it like a R list with the double brackets. So if I would look at a typical GeoRaster file that contains 365 bands for each day of the year, the first element would be the first day of the year in the list. So the first thing I do is I crop this raster brick to the South African outline. So I crop it like you crop a normal picture. The crop operation is much faster than the mask operation, so that's why I do the crop operation first and then I mask it. The mask operation is like a cookie cutter. It cuts out exactly the outline of South Africa onto that global GeoRaster to make it smaller, because it's obviously a huge data set. And then basically what I'm showing here is just calling lapply, using the delivery date package to figure out, I want to roll this up to weekly data. It is daily data currently, raster data. I wanted to roll it up to weekly data, and I just lapply through all the weeks of the year, and then use the double brackets, like you would access a list element. To inside the double brackets there is a true false matrix, and it would just extract the rasters per week, and I would just get the mean value of temperature or rainfall for that specific week. So I would aggregate my data to weekly rainfall or temperature data, which I could then use in my experiment to just analyze it further. Then my next example that I want to show you is creating GIS data in R. My example that I'm going to tell you about is using Google Elevation API to create a topographic contour lines as GIS vectors using this API in R. So this API from Google, you get 2,500 free requests per day, which is quite cool. And the request is typically a path. You say a path between this point and this point, and you can tell it I want 50 sample points between those 2 points, and Google will then return you the elevation of 50 points between those 2 points. So because I'm doing tonight, I'm doing a run up that mountain. It's called that run. So the mountain you see outside there. So I'm running up Devil's Tooth, which is CP1, and then up to Maclear's Beacon, which is CP2, and then up lines ends. So I thought it would be great for me to take this area and just use the Google Elevation API and create contour lines so that I could see where I'm going to run tonight. So before this conference I quickly did that and run this code. So this is the other part code that extracts the elevation using the API. I used the RJSON package to query the API. Quite straightforward, like you can see. Returning basically a grid of elevations across the area. So the first step is I pre-prepared a bounding box of this area, including Table Mountain, and I generated paths to form a grid, and then I gave it to this apply function, which created a CSV file for me, mountain.csv, that contained all the elevations in this bounding box. Then I used the raster package to create an empty raster of this bounding box, which includes Table Mountain and this area. And then I called the rasterize function also in the raster package to populate the data I collected in the mountain.csv file. Then I just converted it to a spatial grid data frame, which is part of the SP package. So it's basically just changing formats, but it stays just format in R. This is the SP package that can handle raster format, and there's a raster package. I'm just moving between two different packages, a representation of that. Then I cast it as an image, and here my parameter interval will define for me how far these contour lines are apart. So I chose 20 meters to create 20-meter intervals. And then I use the contour lines function. It is actually in the GR devices, which is a base package. It's the algorithm that produces contour lines out of the image. So I just basically use that. And then out of the map tools, I use the contour lines to spatial lines data frame function. And I just assigned a projection. So all the R spatial raster and vector functions support projections, because basically the Earth is not round, it's also not flat, it's ellipsoid. And you need to actually project it onto a flat surface. And there's different ways of doing it, and that's what a projection is basically. And yeah, so there is support for that. And then in the end, I used the map tools package, got a function KML line, which can produce KML files basically for you. So I went through the spatial lines data frame using an sapply, and then if I saw that I reached the line, I stripped out a meter above sea level of that specific line, contour line. And then I wanted to apply specific styling if the lines are at 500 and 1,000 meters above sea level. I wanted to make them a bit thicker, so I applied specific styling and basically wrote the KML file to disk. Then I went to Google, My Maps, added the KML file onto Google, and basically I have a set of contour lines on top of Google Maps. I've made it available, I've shared it on Google on that tiny URL on the screen, so if you guys want to have a look. But I also can show you, I think I loaded it in Firefox. Where is it now? So yeah, that's the contour lines in standard R. And you can do that for any place in the world. And the spatial resolution of the Google Elevation API is about 90 meters resolution. I found some blogs this morning that I read, people
doing actual tests between the real digital elevation models and the Google Elevation API to see how good it is. And I found that Google actually combined all these spatial digital elevation satellite products and sort of combined them all to get the best resolution. So the article I read is quite confident that it's good quality elevation data from Google, and yeah, so you can do that in your backyard if you want to map out your backyard and see but if you want to do some extensions to your house. So that's me, yeah. Any questions?
Any questions for the speaker?
You have to get up to the top of you go up that before where you go?
We first go up Devil's Peak,
Yeah.
and then come down, and then we go up Platte Glacier to Maclear Speaker, and then go down again, and then up down there. Yeah. But I'm not rushed to get there. I think it's on the side somewhere. I can't remember where. How do I get back?
It says 2,200 meters.
Yeah.
There. 30K. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Can you use this to get down to, say, meter contours?
Get down to?
To 1 meter interval?
Like I said, the best resolution is 90 meters, yeah. But I think if you pay money to NASA, you can probably download the Q raster. That's high quality. Sometimes NASA also for like ecological sensitive areas or special areas, they let the satellite hover over that area and they get high resolution data of that. But you'll have to pay money for that. It won't be free.